bag up. Hit that gym and get back fine. Go get that degree, go girl. Focus on me. Unlock potential that you didn't know you had. Fuck that nigga.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wine and Wellness Wednesday. I'm Lindsay Brantley, the founder of Camellia Alise and the Camellia Alise Academy, and I am excited to be here with y'all today. All right, so if y'all have your wine, let's go ahead and sip it. I started a little bit early today because this is a topic that's going to take us a while to get through, all right? So, toast to you guys. All right. So, for those of you guys who are new to Wine and Wellness, every week on the Academy page for Wine and Wellness, I come on and I do a topic related to business or related to technical skills. This week, y'all, I have been inundated. Actually, the past 2 weeks, I have been inundated with a lot of people asking me the same questions 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, and there was a post by a different school this week that caused a lot of people to debate on laser lipo. So I want to answer just a couple of questions for you guys about what you guys should be doing correctly with laser lipo treatments. And when I say laser lipo, I am not talking about the lipodiode pads that people strap on their clients. We don't use those. When I'm talking about laser lipo, I'm talking about the CVR method, which is cavitation vacuum RF. So your actual laser lipo machine. So let me say that first, just to clarify what I'm about to talk about. The second thing that I have to clarify for y'all, and this is my disclaimer, I hope that you hear me. This is in no way, okay, a substitution for an actual class. You guys are definitely going to need an actual class if you're going to be performing the services. Understand that the few questions I'm going to answer here it's not even a tenth of what I cover in class. But like I said, because I'm getting some of these questions, over and over, I think it's really important. Also, for those of you guys who are joining me on Instagram, I'm going to need y'all to bear with me because I'm going to show you 2 small videos of the proper way that certain things should be done, and I've never done video inside live, so y'all will have to work with me on that, all right? But there's a couple things. One thing I'm gonna say, a lot of people are like, well, I don't know if I'm doing this right or wrong. One thing I want to say to y'all is, do you even know if your client should really be doing the services? The first thing you should be doing before you touch anybody is an intake form, a consultation form. And if you are one of my students, you get those forms, right? But you need to understand, what is this person's health like? Everybody knows, okay, if they're pregnant, don't do a treatment, or if they have a pacemaker, don't do the treatment. You probably don't know why. You just know you're not supposed to do it. Our classes are not about just knowing how to do it, but why and what's going on with the body, okay? So the first thing you need to be doing before you even touch a client, they need to be doing intake forms, a consultation, and you need to have a waiver, because if anything goes wrong, that's your butt on the line. So let me just say that before I say anything else, okay? But the main 2 things that I wanted to address with you guys, the first one is that technique matters. Let me say it again. Technique matters. The way that you do these treatments matters, okay? There are 2 things that people have been asking me. They've been taking refresher classes and they're like, wait, I was told to do it this way, do that way. Let me just say this, and I'm going to show y'all these videos in a second for this reason. If you are doing a vacuum treatment, okay, and your suction is all the way up and your release is all the way down, you are doing it wrong, okay? Let me just say that. You have to set a suction and a release for the vacuum. If you are doing a vacuum or cavitation treatment and you are just doing this, letting it suck and then moving to the next thing, or you're doing cavitation and you're doing this and you're just shocking your client each time, you are doing it wrong, okay? The whole point of both cavitation and vacuum is to distribute energy and transport liquefied fat. You are not supposed to just basically stab someone with energy. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you guys a very brief, like 10-second clip of a vacuum so you can see the proper way to do a vacuum treatment. So if you are on Facebook, you're probably not going to see the clip, but I will post the clip on the Facebook page afterwards. If you're on Instagram or YouTube with us, you will see the video. Okay, so you guys bear with me, okay? Let me do this vacuum one. All right, so vacuum is first. Hopefully you guys can see that. Do you see how there is movement with the vacuum? It's picking up the skin and it's letting go of the skin. It's picking up the skin and it's letting go of the skin. So for those of you guys who are literally like coming to me, they're like, oh, well, the lady told me just suction it on the skin and leave it there. It's wrong, okay? So let me show the second one. The second one I'm going to show y'all is the cavitation handle. So I'm going to let this one play for a couple seconds, and then I'm going to explain what's going on with this cavitation handle, okay? And this one is showing how with cavitation, as you're moving back and forth, it's liquefying the fat cells, okay? All right, so hopefully, can you guys who are live, can y'all just give me a thumbs up if y'all can see the video? I just need to make sure that y'all were able to see it. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna stop sharing it now. Hopefully you guys can see it. All right, so let me tell y'all, the one thing that people are commenting on, somebody, one of the schools showed a video of a student using a cavitation handle, and what was happening is they were going across her skin, and then at the very end they were picking up the cavitation handle. That is a big mistake. If you guys saw on cavitation, that handle should always be flush to the skin. You should never lift up. Couple reasons, but the main reason is the way that lipo cavitation works. Energy is being placed into the body to liquefy the fat cell. So if you are lifting the handle up, you're losing energy, okay? That's first. Secondly, you can actually shock the client if there's too much energy being pushed forward out towards the skin but not touching the skin. Never lift a handle off of someone's skin. It should be flush and flat up against their skin at all times. Once again, for those of you who are on Instagram with me, you saw the video. For those of you guys who are on Facebook, I will post the video separately. Okay, so it should be flat up against the skin at all times. If I'm coming on the curve of someone's skin, I shouldn't be lifting up. It should be flat. But the second thing is, if you notice in that demonstration, it's moving back and forth. If you leave it on the client's skin for too long, it's too much energy being delivered to the body and it will shock them. It's not going to kill them. It's going to feel very uncomfortable, like a sting or a rubber band pop. They will not continue coming back to you. So whatever teachers y'all have over here telling you, oh, just leave it on the skin, they are wrong. They are dead wrong. And just because it's stinging, that doesn't mean that it's working. Absolutely not. I don't know where that came from, but it is wrong. You always want to have constant movement with a good amount of gel when you're doing a cavitation treatment, and it needs to be flat and flush up against the skin. Technique matters. If you're wondering why your clients are not getting good results, but you're doing this and lifting off the skin, or you're staying in one piece of the skin the whole time, you're doing it wrong and you're not going to get good results, okay? So that's the first thing that I want to talk about. The other thing, like I said in the video, you'll see with the vacuum, where the vacuum is moving back and forth. Once again, technique matters. I'm not going to talk about vacuum movements right now because there are specific movements, but that should never break skin unless you're starting over again. And like if you're coming from here to there and then starting over again, that's the only time you break the skin. But you do not leave it in one place. If you're leaving it in one place, it's like you're cupping. You're doing some kind of cupping therapy. That's not what the vacuum is for. After you have liquefied fat cells, the vacuum is used to then transport those fat cells. So you want to move it, but you don't want to just stamp it here and stamp it there. That's not moving fat. You actually want to have a long line of movement the entire time. So for those of y'all who are out there and you're just like, oh, I'm just going to leave it here for a second, leave it here for a second, leave it here for a second, leave it here for a second. You're not doing anything. You're not doing your client any service. So stop it, okay? It needs to be a constant movement. And if all of the stuff I'm telling you right now is blowing your mind, you need to take a class. Let me just say that, okay? Because these are some of the basics that if you're not doing it correctly, if you're not doing these basic things, you will never get good results with your clients, okay? Let me see what else. So I just basically, like I said, the couple things that I got questions on is lifting off the skin. Is that correct? And if I just have, it in place for a second and then move it to the next place for a second, is that correct? Absolutely not. Both of those are very wrong. So hopefully, you guys see that. And then while I'm talking, if y'all have other questions, I can kind of answer a couple here and there. So if y'all have questions, go ahead and put a couple of them up in the comments. But let me just also say this, and this is, it's not specifically on the technique, but like I said, the technique does matter. The gel versus oil, all of that matters. But let me just say this, when you're doing a cavitation treatment, it is not just about getting this machine and I know how to press the buttons on the machine and it works. No, do you know why you're doing what you're doing? Do you know how you're supposed to be doing it? Which one is the proper order? There's a reason that these classes are 4, 6, 8 hours, because there's information that you need to know that you can't learn in 15 minutes, right? So I just want you guys to know that it is important to take a class. It doesn't have to be my class. If it's someone who is an expert that, knows these things, then hey, I know a few really good instructors out there. I'm not the only person who knows what I'm doing, but you guys need to get trained and understand, like I said, not just the how, not just how to press buttons, but the why behind it. And like if I have a client, for instance, that has diabetes, okay, so they have sugar issues, they've recently changed medicine, but I'm like, I'm gonna help you lose weight with cavitation, and I don't ask the right questions, that person's not gonna get good results. So there are things that you guys need to ask your clients. There are things you need to know. You need to do a consultation. You need to do an intake form. And heaven forbid, but if you burn somebody with RF and you don't have any kind of waivers, and you don't have the insurance that you need, your business is over and done before it even starts. So for those of you guys who are really interested in getting into the industry, or maybe you've started but you know that there are gaps in your knowledge, I really and truly do encourage you to learn how to do it. And like I said, this, once again, my disclaimer, this 10, 15 minutes, however long we've been going, is not a substitution for an actual class, but I just wanted to give you guys an idea of some of the things that are happening wrong, so you know not to make those mistakes. So I hope that, these things kind of helped you guys out a little bit. And it's time to level up, people. You guys, this is a great industry. It's an industry that's growing. I love what I'm doing. I hope that you guys love what you're doing. I am always learning. You guys should be doing the same. Hell, I just took a class from another instructor, and I'm learning 2 other services that we're going to be introducing to our clientele soon. So never stop learning. Never stop asking the questions. Even I don't. I've been in this industry 11 years, and I can still learn more, right? I learn more every day. So never stop learning, but don't just YouTube it, because that's not really going to be enough to get you started in the industry. My last piece of advice, this is just my side note, and I wrote it down because I wanted to make sure that I gave it to you guys. At the end of the day, your business is going to be as successful as you make it, okay? If you are waiting on somebody to hold your hand, you're waiting on somebody to give you the answers, you're waiting on somebody to mentor you or motivate you, you're not going to be successful. Because right now, just by me having people I can ask questions to, you guys having people you can ask questions to, when I started in this industry 11 years ago, there was nobody there. Everything that I'm saying, don't do that, I learned it by trial and error, right? But you guys have resources that you can literally go to, lean to. You can research things. People didn't even know what the hell cavitation was when I first started. So y'all have so much more information in front of you, but what you do with it and what you make with it is 100% up to you. You can take the best class in the world and not launch. I mean, that has happened. It's really going to be up to you. Your business is going to be as successful as you make it. My business looks amazing and great now, but I had to start from the bottom. I had to ask for every single client. I had to prove myself to every client. I had to find the right staff as I grew. Like, it's a journey, y'all. So don't expect that it's going to be an overnight thing, and don't expect that you'll just take a one-day class and be an expert, which is why our classes include the alumni group, which gets a special event tomorrow. Just FYI, for my alumni that are joining me, it's a reminder, tomorrow is y'all's alumni exclusive event. But the alumni group, you get post-class refreshers. Ask that question before you take any class. First of all, you need to know how long your instructor has been doing it. And then secondly, you need to know what kind of support do I get after I take this one-day class. Because if I take this one-day class and then you disappear, that wasn't worth my money, okay? So, like I said, I hope that helped you guys out a little bit. I gave y'all a lot of information in a very little amount of time, but I really do hope that it helped. And I look forward to answering more questions for you guys. Like I said, my alumni group, I will see y'all, we're on Facebook, but I will see you guys tomorrow night. And for all of the rest of you guys, I will see you next Wednesday. Keep sending us topics, keep sending us questions. I'm going to keep answering them on live. Some of them I can, some of them I'll say, listen, that's better understood and expanded on in class. But I just thought these two things were very important. So just remember, technique matters, and always have flush contact with the skin when you're doing a cavitation treatment. All right, so toast to each and every one of you guys for making it through hump day. We're only a couple days away from the weekend, y'all. So toast to you, and I will see you next Wednesday. Bye.
It's time to mix it up and get your glow, girl. I know that you